It's about sauce. The river that runs through this town makes the best pasta anywhere north of New Apple City. Clean, clear, cold, a dream to cook with. That's how the Pastafarian pirates explained it anyway, proudly waving their sauce-stained flags and steaming colanders. The water wasn't just good. It was sacred. The river gave flavor. The river gave reason. You don't enter the town so much as get notified you've already arrived. A soft ping on the scanner, a faint chime from your satchel, and then a reminder flashes, like a whisper you agreed to once. Maybe before you were born. The city didn't climb the mountain for the view. It climbed for the water. Started low, near the dust flats, where the lakes used to be, until the drought hit. So they followed the melt, lock by lock, generation by generation, chasing the cold trickle that still slid down from the snowcaps. Now the whole town stretches like a tilted spine across the mountainside. Some parts cling, others jut. Nothing's even, nothing's flat. Homes, shops, and old mooring docks layer themselves by need, not design. You don't really arrive in this city, you settle into it. No two doors are the same height, no two streets agree on width. And if the wind's right, you can hear a pirate ballad echo through the slopes from 5 levels up, faint but still in tune. It's better if you do's. It's better if you find a thing you are good at. It's better if you live in harmony with the world. It's better if you make art. It's better if you lead an untethered life. It's better if you work together. It's better if you don't. It's better if you don't put us in cages. It's better if you don't work too much. It's better if you don't value possessions. It's better if you don't hurt others. It's better if you don't censor things. Stripping for tips? That's a thing here. Sometimes it's playful, sometimes it's spiritual, sometimes it's just how the bills get paid. No one blinks anymore. As for the schools, hatch protocols don't apply evenly. The town's kids study only in designated expression zones, where most censors don't run. Say the wrong phrase in the wrong place, something like feels like a cage, and your location file gets flagged. Relocation isn't common, but it's not unheard of. There's still a way to remove people who don't belong. A quiet way. And the only reason it was never abandoned? Ask anybody. They'll tell you, dead serious. Mountain water makes the best pasta. Best marinara, too. Something about the minerals. Or maybe just the myth. Either way, nobody's leaving until the sauce says so. Best pizza sauce this side of New Apple City. And yeah, that's still a sore spot. The river doesn't drop. It glides sideways, carving through the slope like a tilted scar, sometimes deep, sometimes wide, always unpredictable. The city followed it, not because it made sense, but because no one could agree on where else to go. The locks don't follow any master design. They just happened, built one at a time, rebuilt again, reinforced with smart dividers and ancient manual gear levers no one agrees how to use. Some residents know how to drift down 5 lock levels without ever touching a control. Others, they crash, float, call it parking. Walking's a gamble. Any plaza, any square might transform into a canal again with 20 seconds notice. Sometimes there's a bell. Sometimes there's just shouting or music. Huge fan boats idle on every dock, half parade float, half personal chaos engine. Their prop fans leave scorch marks on the stone. The hover drones blast puddles into walls. The wind kicks up dust even before the locks move. Some days the air smells like garlic, spray paint, and wet rope. It's barely a system, but it works. Up on the high bank, things look almost normal. Offices, records halls, the vote towers, maybe even a real sidewalk or two. The buildings hold still, but just barely. Up here, the water's just scenery. But down the slope, water is the infrastructure. No bridges, no rope walks, no wheels. Everyone owns at least one version of a standing drone boat, a narrow platform with a grip rail and a smart rudder. They ride the angle like a gondola built for chaos. Half are pirate-themed with decals and weird flags. The rest have names painted like pets: Spaghetti, Lil Sauce, Linda 2. Some sparkle, some hum, some don't turn left anymore, but nobody's fixing it. Then there are the fan boats. Flat-bottom skimmers pushed by roaring prop fans, usually hauling crates, fish tanks, or questionable friends headed somewhere, up-currentish. And the big ones? The pirate barges? They shouldn't work in water like this, but they do. Painted to look like old wood, with balloon sails, rooftop gardens, hammocks, open bars, and the occasional cannon for wildlife or discouragement. Every boat has a 10-foot chrome pole somewhere. Most aren't even attached to anything. Just for stripping. The locks aren't uniform anymore. They've melted into the terrain, stone and smart tech, part natural, part stolen. Some residents know how to coast from lock to lock without touching controls. Others prefer to crash and call it parking. The roads are spirals, 100-foot corkscrews. Sometimes they're terrifying, sometimes they're just slides. The whole lower city leans. But it works. Music bounces off the canyon walls, shouts travel farther than they should. The air smells like fish stew, fuel, and freedom. Worst part? Dust buildup. If the water runs, music bounces off the canyon walls, shouts travel farther than they should. The air smells like fish stew, fuel, and freedom. Worst part? Dust buildup. If the water runs low or a lock's under maintenance, it gets everywhere. You don't notice the grime for a week or two. Then it's all you can smell. It's barely a city, more like a floating waterfall. But it's home. They left Vine Sky with their last good sleep still echoing behind their eyes. It was clean there, too clean, floaty, beautiful in the way some lies are, soft-spoken and well-lit. That thought didn't last long. This new place? Different vibe entirely. Fewer drones, way fewer. Everything was done hand to hand or hook to hook. Locals took pride in it. Took jabs, too. They don't even open packages in Vine Sky. Just say they owned it once, hold it for a bit, then trade it like prestige perfume. One pirate snorted that if your room ever got stale, you could just mail it to Vine Sky and let it float around for 6 months. It'll come back different, he said. Wiser, maybe haunted. Here, signs said, 1 credit. But that was just the handshake. The real economy ran on tips. Tip right? You were treated like a king. Clean plate, real smile, maybe even a second scoop. Tip too high? People assumed you were handing over your beauty, whatever they decided that meant. Tip low? Mystery meat. Bed bugs. A smile so fake it might short your toaster. The price is just your entry point, a local told them. The tip is how you declare your intention. It says what kind of service you expect, what kind of person you are. Some folks wanted to be pampered. Some wanted speed. The tip did the talking. Robin squinted into the dusty air. Remind me again why we're delivering maps to a place called Tipping Point when Vine Sky basically drop-kicked us into a trust fall? Finn didn't miss a beat. Because we survived the fall, and now we get to share the bruises. Bruises? Robin huffed. Try public humiliation by bridge. That place had more rules than signs. I asked for a bed. They sent me to compost. You also tried to pay in credits. Okay, yeah. My bad for assuming currency still meant currency. To be fair, I offered a 6-month terrain scan and got treated like I farted during a tree sermon. Robin laughed. You did. Socially. Finn grinned. Still, we figured it out. You don't ask for a place to sleep. You just help someone lift a spice rack into the canopy and hope a leaf envelope shows up. And don't even think about carrying potatoes. Never again. But hey, we didn't get kicked out. That drone finally found its box slot, and someone handed us a community clearance code like we passed a test. Because we did. Vine Sky doesn't want travelers. It wants rhythm partners. Move wrong, you vanish. Move right, you get dinner and a bath token. You still think it was worth it? Yeah. Weirdly, yeah. I don't think they liked us, but they respected that we stuck it out. Robin sighed. Just promise me no more medical supply runs without asking questions first. Finn nodded. Deal. No more unmarked, flammable mystery cargo in a city made of rope. Tipping Point better be boring, Robin said. Like fan buzzing, paperwork shuffling, chair squeaking boring. I wouldn't get your hopes up, Finn replied. They called it elegance. People here just call it a waste. Cut to. Dusty boots thudding onto a warped dock. The wood beneath them creaked like it held grudges. Splinters curled upward like claws. This place didn't have a name they could find, just a crooked sign that said "Ahoy" in chipped blue paint with a smaller one tacked beneath it. Home of the ramen. Tip too much? You're a sucker. They'll squeeze you for every extra sentence with a period at the end. Period. Tip too little? Well, who hasn't had bed bugs or eaten a little sidewalk spit in their life? There's no legacy here, but there is luxury, a kind of lived-in, dented luxury. The locals know what matters, what's real, what's just for tourists, what can wait till next time, and what's non-negotiable. Like hats. A pirate always has its hat. or a colander. One town over was technically closer to the Vine Sky drop zone, but Robin and Finn were the only ones escorting the supply drone to this one. Apparently, Sky people don't like this area, and they couldn't figure out why. Something about needing to be censored more. After the drone did its crate drop and they signed for the delivery, both paused to take in the scene. Finn squinted up at the spinning noodle sculpture on the courthouse roof. A coil of golden pasta looping endlessly around itself like a greasy infinity symbol. Does it feel like we're in Mama Marinara land to you? Robin didn't answer right away. He was watching a street preacher in a dented colander hat bless a storefront with a ladle full of steam. I stopped asking questions when I paused to hear the town news and got a full rundown of every pasta type known to man. Long pasta, spaghetti, linguine, fettuccine, bucatini, capellini. Short pasta, penne, rigatoni, farfalle, ella, gemelli, elbows. Obscure pasta, ditalini, gigli, orecchiette, cavatelli. Stuffed pasta, ravioli, tortellini. Variants, subtypes, unverified shapes. One guy tried to explain the local logic like, if you won't tip for a strip, what would you tip for? I still don't know what that means. Robin didn't flinch. Well, the noodly teacher said, undercooked tips lead to overboiled judgment. Togetherness is good, but a little oil helps everything unstick. I wrote it down. Figured it might come up again. Robin's notes. No legacy here, but there is luxury. A pirate always has its hat. If you won't tip for a strip, what would you tip for? Undercooked tips? Overboiled judgment. There's a river, and everything in this town is pirate-themed. Like, aggressively pirate-themed. But not aggressive pirates, just the theme. Because remember, it's better if you don't hurt other. Huge inflatable fan boats line the docks, shaped like galleons, krakens, or sea monsters, puffed up and leaning wrong in the wind like parade floats. The inflatable bumpers are so puffy they bounce off anything they touch. They challenge each other to ramming speed. Sometimes, a tiny ship will randomly scream rambling speed and bounce off a little pirate dinghy without the bigger ship so much as adjusting, a ripple away. Some of the less eccentric locals ride hover fan drones, amphibious, loud, and fast. They're designed to roll across land and splash into water without slowing down. Most days you'll see one skimming across the street with a mop, a pizza box, or someone's cat. Robin stared at a boat with an actual fire pole mounted to the side. Why is there a fire pole on a boat with all this water? And where would you even slide from? Okay, Salamander. Look left. It's not for sliding down. That's just a dance partner showing a lot of tail feathers. Oh, calm down. Don't make me change your name to Red. The town itself is built along a massive lock system, angled elevators for water. Some folks still keep houseboats moored in place, but most rely on the drones now. Hovercrafts that buzz over tile and ripple into the canal like it's a stage entrance. And yes, this is also the town that worships the flying spaghetti monster. That's not a punchline. That's just Tuesday. Finn keeps getting washed away this episode. That's the running gag, because most people here don't walk. Not really. And if you're standing in the middle of a public square that's about to become a canal again, yeah, hope you can swim, brother. And they did. Every street-level dock had oversized inflatable fan boats, part party barge, part parade float. They bobbed like lazy galleons, powered by leaf-blower-sized engines and decked out with foam cannons, pool noodles, and enough airbrushed tentacles to make Poseidon call it a day. The entire town ran on a tiered river lock system. Water levels rose and fell constantly. Old boats tied to fixed homes waited on the creaky schedule of the lock sirens. But most people? They had hover fan barges, crafts that skipped across puddles, sidewalks, and seams of river like it was all one wet trampoline. In Vine Sky, everyone acted like you'd already been corrected. Here in Tipping Point, you get laughed at and maybe fleeced. Again, Robin and Finn needed local maps, some food, a new mode of transport, and a heading toward New Apple City. Finn spotted a vendor grilling vegetables and meat over a steaming tray of pasta. A short, fast-moving line twisted around the cart. Everyone paid with a wrist tap, no conversation, and walked off with portions of wildly different sizes. Finn waited his turn, then asked, "Sorry, how much?" The woman didn't even look up. How much for what, you knew? Kinda? She pointed to an old rusted sign. All items 1 credit, all services 1 credit. He scanned. 1 credit. What he got? A broken stick, mostly fat, bruised vegetables, 3 dry noodles, no sauce, no apology. A nearby pirate swung past on a chrome pole wearing nothing but a hat. You get what you pay for. Then to Robin. Looks are free, but this dance isn't. Robin turned red. The pirate stopped his vessel, stared at her, arms straight, hanging like a triangle with a hat on top. Robin, here's a tip. Just leave. You're a bad one, requesting a dance from that angle. Bye. And he spun and danced, somehow steering away in his bumper ship, still grinning. Tipping point law, everything's a credit. But tips, they're up front, and they decide everything. Tip low? Low effort, low service. Maybe spoiled meat, maybe silence. Robin shrugged off her outer layer, just a heat thing, and before she could even blink, someone tossed her a tip, literal credit chip, straight into her lap. She looked up to thank them, but they weren't walking away. They were waiting, smiling, nodding, expectant. The kind of look that said, your move. She blinked. They blinked back, still swaying like background dancers in a music video no one had cued. Was that? Am I supposed to acknowledge the tip? Or dance? She gave the tiniest shoulder wiggle and snapped her head to the left 3 times. The person lit up like she'd performed an entire routine and walked off humming, clapping to themselves. Okay, I think I accidentally street performed. Again. I thought I was waving. Fourth wall break in character, Pastafarian pirate, ahoy viewer. If ye laughed, nodded, or even squinted suspiciously at any part of this tale, it's time to leave your tip the modern way. That means a like, a comment, or hitting that subscribe bell like you just spotted treasure on the radar. It costs ye but 1 finger flick, but earns us a boatload of joy in return. Whether you be Pastafarian adjacent, or just drifting through the algorithmic seas, all are welcome aboard. And if you really want to show respect, type our amen in the comments below. We'll know what it means. Now back to the canal, the chaos, and maybe, just maybe, one more accidental street performance. I'm in Traveler. See ye next port. After a few more awkward tries and short servings, Finn and Robin figured it out. The real payment is the tip. The 1 credit price is universal for the less than minimum. The locals were friendly enough, especially the pirates. After a few casual chats, they had a decent sense of what folks paid for different crafts. Not the base cost, the real cost. Tips, trades, votes. Everything layered. Eventually, they found a shop with used pirate gliders. 3 occupancy models, docked near a cluster of mid-level votes. The sales worker asked, "Looking for a 2-seater?" Finn pointed at a banana yellow one that had clearly been passed over for aesthetic reasons. Not pirate-themed. Looked like a floating noodle. The bumpers were supposed to be the bowl. The 2 poles eating utensils, but definitely the wrong color. Yet yellow. Judging by the size and the dock location, they figured it was worth about 150 credits. Pricey, but resellable, especially with a paint job. When it came time to offer, Finn blurted, $220. The sales rep's eyes went wide, but he didn't correct it, just smiled and handed over the passkey. Then came the add-ons. You'll want the fuel boot, hydrogen bumper filler, flags, water cannon, chrome pole polish. Finn cuts in. We'll be fine for now. We actually already stocked up on chrome pole polish. They took the glider and realized maybe Tipping Point was more different from Vine Sky than they thought. After a few awkward experiments, they started to figure it out. Small purchases, easy. 1 credit, low tip, you'll get something. Maybe not much, but something. 1 credit, generous tip, you're taken care of. Quick, clean, even friendly. But go too far, cross that invisible line, and something changes. People squint. Conversations shorten. It's not just that you're new. It's that you care too much about possessions. It's better if you don't value possessions. That mistake with the glider? Finn's 220 credit overoffer? It stuck. Even after repainting it a soft-cooked noodle white, rechroming the pole, and getting the volcano-shaped beer tap fridge working again, they were never going to break even. Damn Vine Sky and their overoffer, overcorrect economy. Now, everything here was the opposite. You had to know what something was worth. No one told you, and the closer they got to the water, the more obvious it became. They were outsiders. Everyone else was some flavor of pirate. Clothes? Optional. Confidence? Required. Robin once asked a vendor how the town handled taxes if everything was tips. The woman doubled over laughing. You imagine dancing for tips, taking off your clothes, and then giving it to the town? Honey, this town bets its money on import tariffs. We just keep the tipping sauce hot. She wasn't wrong. The marinara here might be the best this side of New Apple City, but it might also be the priciest. Tipping works differently here. Everything does. Example, the rights to run the public walkway cleaning drones for this section of town. No one applied. 3 people wanted it. So they drew straws. Now one guy, just a local with a lucky grip, holds a 5-year license to run the whole zone. His drones sweep storefront docks and polish up the glass until it's so spotless they have to slap bird stickers on it to keep sparrows from knocking themselves unconscious. But this town's got wind. Real wind. It blows up the mountain just as much as it blows down. And wind means dust, not enough to notice at first. Give it a week or two, you'll see it. A month? Let's just hope some artsy elder doesn't start scratching "Clean Me" into your logo with a fishbone. Want your windows done in an hour? Tip right. Tip low? Well, maybe his drones are suddenly low on cleaning fluid. Maybe he makes fewer trips to the river for fresh water. And maybe before your clock resets, he's knocking on your competitor's door asking if they need a shine. Tip culture here isn't passive. It's a living barter, a signal, a bet. Their single-mode travel setup quickly proved annoying. Anytime Finn stepped onto the glider too slow, or Robin pulled off too fast, someone got wet. Usually Finn. After a full splash incident, Robin started dramatically waiting for him to settle in before moving. The patients felt sarcastic, but appreciated. They repainted the skimmer, polished the poles that cross up high like chopsticks, got the fridge to chill again. It looked good, too good. Locals scoffed. Where's the art? Yeah, it's a white bowl with a yellow rim, too chrome. Tall poles making a sort of X. It looked pristine. Turns out looking new is worse than looking lost. It's better if you don't value possessions. They started to notice it around day 2. People were watching them, following them. But the weird part was the art sculpting them, not officially, not with permission, just casually. An old woman sketching Robin's profile into a napkin with soy sauce. A pasta vendor hot gluing macaroni onto a driftwood bust that looked suspiciously like Finn's confused face. One guy just squinted through a colander and muttered things like, "Cheek symmetry confirmed." You brought a clean boat, asking for art. It's better if you find a thing you are good at. It's better if you live in harmony with the world. It's better if you make art. It's calling to everyone. That's like showing up to a seasonal bonding ceremony in swim trunks. We're just fixing it. Robin leaned toward Finn, arms crossed. Do they still do bonding ceremonies here? Like weddings? Yeah, more than most places. 1 or 2 5-year contracts, 2 terms, if they're pre-approved. As much as a pirate likes a wench, it helps. Some pirates need ransom cargo. Ransom cargo? The old man looked dumbfounded. I guess ransom cargo is treating someone like cargo with high value. It's better if you don't put people in cages. She glanced back at the noodle statue forming behind them. Okay, but why does everyone want to sculpt us out of noodles? That changed when they found a group of elders painting under an awning near the mid-tier docks. On impulse, Robin called out, "Would you guys care to do some art on that? Our noodle bowl?" Faces lit up. Paint was slapped. When they left, it didn't look new anymore. It looked like it belonged. This wasn't a city you could buy your way into. Not with credits. Not even with tips. People watched. Here is your complete verbatim audiobook style how you moved, how your boat sounded. Whether your chrome pole, painted up high to add character, they somehow were able to make it, with smoke black chrome and red etching of pirate symbols, really look like chopsticks. The bowl now showed a pirate battle mosaic, and the flying spaghetti monster himself had noodly appendages hanging off the back. Art mattered. No one cared if your boat was fast. They cared if it had style, whether it told a story, even if it was ridiculous. The pristine, spotless look, it was around, but hard to pull off. Art first. It's better if you live in harmony with the world, even if you're a pirate ship. But a crooked flag, a colander crown, a glitter-sealed spice rack strapped to the deck, and it looks good in harmony? That was social currency. Tourists in the know tried to match the look. Locals made it look lived in. Happy lifestyle. The skimmer didn't just float better now, it felt different. It didn't stand out by accident. It stood out like it was meant to be here, which was something else entirely. This wasn't about blending in, it was about showing your flavor. And once the town saw theirs, some offered seasoning, some left chopsticks. But all of them said Amen. Jobs were scarce, but style? Style was free. And the marketing team for the town's Tipping Pirate sauces, from the authentic Tipping Pirates River, best marinara west side of New Apple City, they knew that. In the early afternoon every day, groups of ships would gather. Whatever task needed to be done that day would get worked on. It's better if you work together. Finn and Finn joined the group out of curiosity and not wanting to be left out. They were handed an envelope, had to skim a sectional waterway with a net, drop off some garbage, deliver rum to two of the main barges. They didn't even know when exactly, but both of them ended up with a few credits and a handful of tips. And then the party could restart. Ramming speed. I got your mate in my oversized boiling noodle pot. You better bring the seasonings. And if you want 'em back, I challenge you to a strip-off. Counter offer, beer drinking competition. Finn went full local. A colander helmet, a belt buckle with seasoning compartments, and an Ovu charm necklace. Robin committed hard. Full pirate suit, holstered ladle canister, and a spyglass that doubled as a cheese grater. That was day 3. They didn't plan it. Just walked out of the dockhouse at the same time. Finn in full colander and condiment mode. Robin in pirate chic, cheese grater spyglass dangling. For a second, they just stared at each other. No jokes. No jabs. Just surprise. Recognition. You look like you belong here. You too. Tipping point. I think I'm starting to understand it. They said it used to be called something else, but then a peg-leg pirate slipped on marinara mid-vote, and the name just stuck. A pause. That's terrifying. Yeah, I kind of love it. And then the moment passed, because the boat fridge was making that volcano sound again. It's now day 7. They've got everything they need for the next leg. Maps, food, a travel plan, and a noodle ship that doesn't embarrass them anymore. Only thing left? Choose a direction. Robin still blushes from time to time, but they're ready. Next up, they head south, thinking they've made it to New Apple City early. They haven't. What they do find is something else entirely. They call this episode 5 of World, if you're counting. Tipping point. But this wasn't the anti-tipping economy episode. That one's next. Next time on World, Hatch Day, episode 6. A city where nothing costs anything and everything costs too much. Welcome to the Shrewd Zone. And lo, the pirates did smile upon them. And the chrome pole was polished, and the fridge volcano did bubble again. And they saw it was good. And they said,